Good morning. It is a good morning. I wasn't going to shoot this morning originally. I wanted to sleep in, considering there's a snowstorm on its way. Supposedly it was supposed to be here this morning. It is snowing right now, and it snowed pretty heavy on the way up. Um, but I looked at some forecast models, and apparently there was some opening in the east. So I thought maybe if I came here, which is fairly close to where I am, where I'm staying, that these clouds above me would light up. So that may happen and may not. Regardless, I'm happy just to be here and see this place in the wintertime. It kind of ties into yesterday's fiasco at Abraham Lake. I think I want to talk a little bit about planning for landscape photography. I think it is important to plan for landscape photography. Knowing where you're going and what you kind of want to shoot when you get there, I think is important. It helps you, visualize the photo that you want to get. The problem can be when conditions don't go your way. I drove 2 hours to get to Abraham Lake yesterday, and getting there, seeing the lake covered in water was very disheartening, especially when I walked on the lake and I saw that the top layer of ice had actually started to melt, so it had left this haze over all the bubbles and the cracks and everything. So my plan was to go shoot an abstract of some bubbles with some nice, nice uniform kind of shapes. And so did not find those. I walked around for quite some time and didn't end up finding anything. So plan B was to shoot ice heaves along the shoreline. Walking along those, I found the wind had blown dirt into all the good ones. So again, plan B, I ditched it. Plan C was to find some cracks in the lake that led to these mountains. And again, every crack that was deep enough to actually, take a photo of was full of dirt. And so plan C failed as well. So I once I let go of those, those plans and decided that these aren't going to happen anymore, I was able to focus on the landscape and allow it to tell me what to shoot, which, was where you create some of your better photographs, I think. And so I went there to shoot, abstract bubbles, and I came away with the photos you saw already, with these nice sweeping lines in the ice, leading to the mountains, and then the beautiful light above it. I was able to react to the scene once I let go of those expectations of the place I was at. So I really enjoyed my time there. For the first 2 hours, I didn't enjoy my time. I walked around in 80-kilometer-an-hour winds, getting blown around, freezing to death, and not finding what I wanted to shoot. But once I let go of those expectations, I began to just enjoy being there and see the photo. People around me could hear me go, "Wow, yeah!" Really excited. And even here, it's super happy. I'm just super happy to be here and check this place out in the winter. I've never been here. My expectation is that the clouds might light up. Maybe, probably not. They're pretty low. You can see the mountains are starting to peak from right behind there. So I've grabbed a couple shots already. I'll probably grab a couple more with just this nice. It's a soft, flat light, but it kind of works for the scene with the lodge is nice and warm. Everything else is fairly cool, and it's fairly moody. So I'm gonna process it that way. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys about planning for landscape photography, just how important it is, and how important it is also to be able to react to conditions. So I'm going to turn you guys here and we'll see what I've got going on. Okay, this is the scene in front of us. It is just magical is the only word I can use to describe it. The mountains are starting to peek through these low-hanging clouds. And of course the lodge is giving off a nice warm light. Now this was a bit bluer earlier, so it's definitely a way I'm going to be processing it, but you can see the photo here. I'm blowing out while we're talking. The lodge is kind of central, but these peaks behind it are just showing, which is adding a lot of interest to the photo. And then if I take this histogram off, you see I've got just the edge of this guy sweeping through, and then everything kind of leads you to the lodge. Even this peak comes down and leads you to the lodge. So overall, I'm quite happy with the scene. Again, I know it's been done by, several thousand people, but I wanted to come here and experience it for myself. So this is the scene. Quite happy with it. One thing I should talk to you about is why I've kind of composed this the way I have. So I focused on the lodge center of my frame, well, top center. F11 allows me to keep sharp focus all the way through the scene. I wanted to keep this peak in the photo with this kind of the clouds coming off of it. But I didn't like that this is up here is all just kind of blank space. And so let me show you live view here. If I were to zoom out, you can see that that top of the peak is exposed, and I think the composition gets weaker. So I zoomed in till I cut off the top of that peak, so that these lines all swoop down and point right to the lodge. So that's kind of the thought process behind this composition. So right now I'm shooting at about 20 mils, 19-20 mils, and with the lodge kind of center of the focus. So, and you got nice beautiful reflections of the lodge with these trees and the mountain even. It's quite breathtaking. 2 lessons in today's video. Lesson 2, patience. Sometimes it can pay off. So I've been hanging out here for a couple of hours, and oh, what is this? The sun is peeking through to the east and is illuminating these clouds right above the lodge. So it's kind of exactly what I had hoped would happen. Looks like it actually is. So as someone famous once said, I love it when a plan comes together. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Done a bit more exploring around here and came across what I think is the winner of this area. Used to be kind of on the other side of this little creek system. Now I'm on the other side, and it just opened up a new perspective, and I'll turn you around and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so here is the shot. What I like about it is this whole creek kind of goes in a circle around this little group of trees. You have this little guy here, there's a group of about 3 or 4, and then there's this one standing up. Perspective of my camera looks like this. What I'm doing is a 50mm panorama. Gonna come across the scene like this. The reason for that is just to get rid of wide angle distortion, and to get you know, I don't really need this up here. It's not adding to the scene. What I want is basically this right here is what it's going to look like in the end. When you're doing a panorama, sorry, moving around is not easy. When you're doing a panorama, what I like to do is bring up my histogram and then get my pano set and then spin. Hold on, here we go. Spin my scene all the way throughout, and then watch the histogram move and change, and make sure my highlights never blow out and my shadows never go completely black. So this looks like a fairly even or pretty good light for the whole thing. So that's what I do for panorama. Make sure when you're moving, you have lots of overlap. You don't want to come back. Well, you can't come back and do it again, really, especially in my case. So I'm gonna get it right the first time. Again, we got a little bit of nice texture in the foreground. I'm gonna maybe wait till this light actually does show up. I do like the scene a lot, and I think the light would change it substantially. So we're gonna give it a little bit of time here. I mean, there is quite a few heavy clouds, so I'm not sure if that's actually gonna work, but I would like it to, that's for sure.